and it was horrible.
Yeah, it was a miserable game. There was scrappy tries. There was too much rain. Too many penalties.
Yeah, it was not a great derby, and it wasn't a great. The atmosphere was a bit better because Saints fans got a bit riled about some of the things that were going on, and I really enjoyed shouting at the referee. But it's not a derby if it's not heaving, and there's no Wigan fans there. It just detracted from the whole thing. It didn't feel like a normal derby. It felt like a pre-season friendly in bad conditions.
It had this sense of it was a game, but it wasn't a game from like the current era, and there was attempts at intensity from both sides, but both sides got it completely wrong. As the penalty count shows, both sides were very guilty of being offside, of making late challenges or high challenges. It was across the piece, really. Of course, Willie Isa takes the prize idiot award, but it wasn't. It was a scrappy game from both sides, conceding lots of penalties, making a few errors as well. And the errors you can understand in the conditions, but the penalties, get your intensity right, and neither side did in this game. And do you know what? As well, you might have scored 3 tries, but they were 3 fucking lucky tries.
Well, they came from pressure, didn't they? So they weren't. It was
no, but
it was about bounce ball.
There's every chance. Every chance that first try could have been giving us a no try, with the potential for certainly it hit Percival somewhere through that process. The second try, how many times does a player drop the ball backwards like that? Normally, when you drop it like Farge did there, it goes forwards.
Yeah.
And then the final try, I mean, if Percival was an inch higher off the ground, because he was losing. He didn't have control of that ball when he put it down. He had his fingertips on it, but he didn't have control of that ball. If he had to go an inch further, it was out of his grasp. And that was the weather. It's not Percival. That was the weather. And that came against 11 men. Even then. That shows how poor both teams were. And then Wigan's try, where was the goal line defence from Saints that they've shown for the last 5 years? It wasn't there. So all the tries were scrappy, lucky, not normal tries to me. And that just emphasised how poor the game was. And obviously I feel more strongly about how poor it was because my side lost.
I thought Saints played actually quite well in the first half. I thought we deserved our lead. Yes, I think there were elements of luck in the try, but hell, England got lucky last night to get a penalty and win the game against the Danes. Sometimes you make your own luck when you're when you're on top.
And like England, Saints were the better side and deserved to get the luck. Yeah.
So the second half was a mess. It was an absolute mess. I couldn't wait for it to finish and for us to get off the ground and get back to the cars, to be honest. But it wasn't a great game. In contrast to the game the night after, which was much better.
It isn't a win that makes you sort of hop, skip, and jump towards Wembley with excitement, is it? You need to see something more this week before that game.
No, indeed. Sadly, I won't be going tomorrow night. I've got to go somewhere else, so I'll be watching it on the R League app on my phone.
Let's move on to the Monday night game then.
Now, this was a good game. It was Warrington versus Leeds. It was 20 points to 6 to Leeds at half-time and finished 22-16. Liam Moore, who I think is doing a very good job at referee this year, in my opinion, was the referee this evening. There are incomplete team stats. I'm not sure which players were missing, Mark.
I can't remember. It's hard to tell because I don't have the... I'll get a match report up in front of me. I know what it'll be. Bodine Thompson, because he's one of the players that the stats forgets. Bodine Thompson, Reynolds at Lee. Yeah.
A black hole in the team stats list. For the winners, Reece Martin, 154 metres. Ash Handley, one try assist. 144 metres and 2 clean breaks. Liam Sutcliffe, who I thought had a very good game, 1 try assist and 123 metres. And Conrad Hurrell, 117 metres. For the losers, Tom Lynham, 6 tackle bus, 157 metres, 2 clean breaks.
You can tell why EFC's going to talk about him till he's gone, can't you?
Yeah. Josh Thewlis, 1 try assist and 131 metres. Darryl Clark, 7 tackle bus and 122 metres, 2 clean breaks. And Ben Curry, 42 tackles and 108 metres and 2 clean breaks. On the disciplinary front, Steph Ratchford got a grade A contact. No match penalty notice.
He should have been sin-binned for his late tackle, shouldn't he?
Yeah,
really?
Yeah, he should.
Yes, John Hamilton, back from the grave again, the former US president apparently. But no, our friend John Hamilton from Sheffield said, scrappy stuff, but some really good play. Dwyer, Martin and Hanley were great. Tense finish, but fantastic result against the form side. Leeds insisting on fielding a different half pairing every match means I'll be starting 6 next week. Can't wait.
Neil McEwen says, Wire utter shit tonight, which was great viewing. Referee double standards again on show. Following last night's yellow for late hit, Rashford should have been sin-binned in the second minute for a late hit. He should. Leeds were really impressive tonight.
Sherlock Ben said, absolutely dreadful from Warrington, missing Widdop, and it's obvious. Leeds played well and took advantage of horrendous refereeing. Not only this game, but the Saints-Wigan game, referees are a shambles, never consistent, and it's like they choose who they want to win and just stick by it. They don't choose who they want to win. They might not always perform well, but they're certainly, and the consistency deserves question, certainly, obviously at times, but they certainly don't pick who they want to win. But Sherlock Ben says it's ruining the game for him. His opinion is the match officials should give interviews the same as coaches and players after the game. I get the sentiment, but I don't understand what's to be achieved from that because we go into all these games, okay, there's 2 partisan elements to the game and there's 1 element that's completely neutral. And even if that completely neutral part has a shocker, even if that completely neutral part has a good game, one side's going to lose and they're going to say he was shit.
Yeah.
And they tried to do the Twitter thing, didn't they, where they went through decisions a couple of days after the game, tried to remove the passion from it, and they just couldn't, because all that they'd get after they honestly answered a question with what they thought they saw at the time, and what more can you ask of them, is you're fucking useless, you're shit. And it's just, it doesn't help. It's awful when people feel like the referees are ruining the game as well. And I'm not saying the referees are great all the time by any stretch of the imagination, but in the Wigan Saints game, it wasn't James Child who was offside, and he was blowing the whistle consistently for it, and they kept being offside throughout the game. Yeah. That's not the ref's fault, sort of thing for me. But I do understand the frustration people have, though, because I'm a fan like everyone commenting is.
Yeah, absolutely. And I enjoyed shouting at the referee.
Oh, in the stand, yeah.
It's all part of the fun of the fair.
Oh, yeah. We're entitled to, as paying spectators, to give them shit from the stands. It's part of our job from the terraces. I've always said this, but after the game, outside of the game...
Yeah, let it go.
A little bit, yeah.
Neil Ormston says, I feared a performance like tonight was coming. The signs were there against Wigan, but we got away with it then due to the standard of opponent.
He's a trolly little shit at the moment, isn't he?
We look slow and are suffering from the fact that we've continued playing as other teams have been tossing it off with their own unscheduled
Don't bring
breaks.
Kenny Edwards into this.
I think he's talking about Castleford. Credit Leeds for executing their game plan, but what a shitty one it was. Both teams had players faking injury, sort it out, RFL. I loved that bit, by the way. I really liked that. Warrington faked injury on 3 or 4 occasions when they beat us the week before last. So it really was the bite of bit in this, as Leeds paid them back in kind in this game, lying on the floor.
Neil's hitting on it, though, isn't it? It's all teams. It
is. Everyone's doing it. I must admit, I think some teams do it a little bit more than others, but there you go. That's just my perspective.
There was one in our game, actually, where a Warrington player I think it was possibly when the game was moving into the balance a little bit more, and a Warrington player, I think it was Jason Clark, basically stopped a dropout being taken quickly, within the time, and he was made to stay off quite rightly, and that sort of stuff probably should happen a little bit more.
Yeah, I think I was having to think about this myself, Mark. I think if a player goes down like that, I think they should have to go off the field, and then stay off for the next set.
Well, that's what happens at a dropout. They have to stay off for the next set. Now, but what Warrington did is give away a penalty on tackle 2, so we could come back on because that set was done and we're on to a new set.
Yeah. I think maybe you have six tackles and you're off for the next 6 tackles or something like that. I think we need to do something to stop it because it's nuts. It happened in the... I think it could have been the Warrington Cast game a few weeks ago. I tweeted about it then. That, just people, the physios are on the field holding people's heads, just stopping the game. And it doesn't happen in the NRL. So there's something going wrong in our game at the moment that this seems to be the way teams are trying to slow the game up. It's nonsense.
At the end of games, gamesmanship-wise, you're always going to get it. And whenever you're getting angry at another team, just remember that last week your team did it. Because that's how it goes. But there's also something to say about it when it's consistently happening through games. And maybe part of it's because the game's too fast now with 6 again and stuff, and no scrums, that they're trying to artificially bring in breaks into the game. Well, that's something the RFL can look at doing a different way, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I think at the moment, I fear it's being used tactically to break momentum when teams are on a roll.
But Liam Moore did pick up on some of the tactical stuff, a la the Rob Lewis in Binning.
Yeah, which is good. As I said, I think Liam Moore is probably about the best referee we've got around at the moment. I don't know who's refereeing the Challenge Cup final yet, but wouldn't surprise me if he got it.
Whoever hadn't got COVID. Lee Whitnall said, Dirty Leeds turned up to this one positively frothing with the kind of energy that can only come after back-to-back games versus Lee and Salford, a COVID-enforced rest and an early cup exit. Tired Brave Wire, jaded after fulfilling all their fixtures, simply couldn't muster the energy to run, throw or catch. Despite this, Leeds only managed to win by 1 score, which is thoroughly embarrassing for them, so I won't rub it in.
Yeah, down to 11 men right at the end as well, weren't they? EFC78JU says, was not the result we wanted at home, especially to a Leeds Rhinos team that really want that top half like Warrington want to keep hold of their top 4 spot. Some people are blaming Josh Stewlis over the first try. At least give him a chance. He's only a youngster and has not played much. But we still came back real time in the second half, thanks to Josh Charnley brace, but still not enough.
Sometimes people are just out-jumped and out-fought, and I think out-fought, not necessarily out-thought, but there was an element to that in the way that they went and out-fought them, was kind of the Leeds mantra in this game. They out-fought Warrington.
Yeah, just on that particular try, I think it's really difficult sometimes if you're a fullback and the kick's a good one, which this one was. It was dropping right on the line,
right under the post as well.
Exactly, and Rob Louis running in. So Rob Louis got all the momentum. The fullback has not really got any momentum because he's got to jump effectively from a standing start.
And he's got to watch for what the ball's doing with the posts as well in that circumstance.
I mean, I felt for him a little bit on that. I wouldn't put too much blame on him. I think Rob Louis did a very good job in terms of timing his arrival, and obviously he's a big, strong chap, or a little strong chap, and rather portly at the moment. But he clearly had the better of him there.
He's on a retirement diet, isn't he? The convicted spousal
abuser. He is, isn't he? I think Leeds were just stronger, more intense in this game. They had a better intensity throughout the game, I thought, in this game.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that at all. I do think the Lynham no try after the first real time Warrington played like Warrington have been playing, you know, with that sort of combination of freedom, being there for each other, but also knowing where everyone's going to be. And the way that they've played like that recently, with a lot of tries scored from distance that end up being scored through the middle, was the play that they got to just short on, didn't they? Where Austin got tackled, and then
Yeah.
Lynham went in, and it